Hello, this is Matthew Kenslow, and in this video I'm responding to a dialogue that I had and adding some extra commentary to a person that I actually had a run-in before a year and a half ago in March and May of 2020. This is the person that made these comments, and as you see on the screen, these are just excerpts of what he commented, and I made a big video the next day responding to those comments and have defended myself and autistic people. And then a couple of months later, I waited patiently and he responds to another video that I posted about autism, and this is what he said. And he basically said no one cares about autistics, among a few other things, and so I made another video proving that autistics can have a social life, and that's the last I heard from him until yesterday. So I gave it 24 hours and I allowed him to respond, and we went back and forth in the comments section. It was my video about autism, guilt, and friends and such that I posted a few weeks ago. I'll put that video in the card above if you're interested. But he, out of the blue, just yesterday, he said, maybe if you stop acting like a weirdo, buy some decent clothes, start going to the gym, then those quote-unquote strangers will feel scared and will never dare to say something. If you think you can become a school teacher acting like this, then I'm sorry, you will end up being bullied badly. So he does remember my zeal to become a teacher. Update, I'm in the credential program right now at Vanguard University and I'm loving it. And then I put, oh wow, you're back. Glad you're back so that you can understand us hopefully. You're telling me that my videos I made for you didn't get you to understand that we're human beings and not weirdos? And that we have just enough purpose as you do? Did you not watch my video for you proving that we can have a social life? And then I left a couple of links. Did you not watch that? What about my first video I made for you in March of 2020? Did you not watch that? Out of curiosity, have you watched a lot of my videos but didn't comment for the past year and a half? Or is this literally the third one you watched in your life? I have many other videos about autism awareness and acceptance, which I'm sure would make you eat your words. I'm not trying to be mean to you. I care more about you than you think. I'd even take a bullet for you to prove that we autistics are humans with a heart. Please have a nice day, but accept us for who we are. You are insinuating that autistic people, which are becoming a majority soon, MIT, one of the leading universities in the country, says that by 2025 we will have an autism majority in the US alone, and the CDC in March of 2020 said that the prevalence of autism in children is 1 in 54, I believe, and I made a video responding to that. So again, you're insinuating that autistic people, which are becoming a majority soon, will never amount to anything. And neurotypicals as yourself, I'm certain, are really telling all us autistics to just go commit suicide. Ever thought of that? And I'm going to stand on those words because if there's a world where all neurotypicals just hate us, then what is our purpose? I mean, I'm not far from the truth, and I'm sure, and I actually know that there are a lot of people that have ended their life because of this. I'm holding you accountable to watch my past videos addressing your concerns, and if you still don't understand, then you can probably expect a third video just for you, which is what I'm making here. But if I didn't care about you, I wouldn't waste my breath. P.S. I'm not joking, but I've prayed for you specifically and other bullies and trolls of mine probably 100 or more times in the past year, including several times this past month alone. I've never forgotten about you. Read John 15:13. I'll leave it up to you to look up John 15:13, but please look into my eyes. I am totally telling you the truth. I never stopped thinking about this person or Larry or Adrian or Adam or all these people that have gave me comments and such about, based on how I look or the fact that I'm autistic. I mean, I've been begged not to have children from people around the world just because I'm autistic and such. And what I do, and I mean it from my heart, I pray for these people. In fact, in my first video on March 18th, 2020, that video that I posted, the first response video, I prayed for him at the end of the video. And I still, pray, perhaps even a couple or many times a week actually, even before this, along with all the other people. And I also said in that video that I subscribed to his channel because he's also a plane spotter. He only has 4 videos. I left comments on a few of them, like good video and such, and I subscribed to him. He hasn't posted anymore. I would know because I would have got to notifications, and he does make decent plane spotting airport videos, so I support him there, and again I pray for him, so I'm not against the guy. And then he responds back and says, wow, I'm glad you still remember me, Matt, after 1.5 years. Good memory, weirdo. Well, Yeah, I have autism. I don't have a photographic memory, and I talked about it in my reply to this comment. But first, he asks, did I ever say you're not human? Did I ever say go commit suicide? Yes, he insinuated it. Okay, and I talk about that. So yes, I stand by what I said. What I'm trying to say is that people respect you for what you look, how you act, not who you are. If you keep acting and looking like a weirdo, then don't come and complain about bullying and harassment. And so I replied, I said you insinuated it. By the way, I can remember back when I was 1 or 2 years old. I have the skill of memorizing incredible amounts of things, but I'm not going to talk about that here. But I'll shed light in this video. I do remember a lot, and it's because of autism. I remember a lot of my past experiences, and I remember a lot of like history, math, science, and such. By the time I graduated high school, I had all the presidents memorized, their birth dates, death dates, and term dates, not just the years. I had the elements of the periodic table memorized a few years later, not because I had to, but just because I wanted to, and it was easy for me. I find patterns and things, and you know, it's just easy for me. My book that's making a difference in the world and got 2 awards talks about this incredible memory, but I digress. I'm not here to gloat ever. And honestly, the only reason I say what I could do and what I know is only to shed light on who we are. Like, this is who we are, and there's pros and there's cons, and this is just one of the pros. A lot of autistic people are known for having such an outstanding memory and such. I just wanted to say that, so I'm not gloating here. So here's your problem, like most of the world, and what I mean by that is that there's a lot of people in this world who are like this guy, and it's by your admission. People look on the outward appearance, but not at the heart. I mean, that's exactly what he was insinuating in the comment previous. You are the epitome of 1 Samuel 16:7 when it comes to people looking on the outward appearance. And then I go on to say how I cannot help how I look. And, you know, for years, I mean, several years, this has been a concern with, you know, doctors and nurses and such. I mean, not like a life or death concern or so. I mean, I'm still here, you know, but I cannot help how I look. And I go on to tell him that I have worked out before. I had a personal trainer back in 2015, and I had worked out at OCC for a class and such. And when I say worked out, I mean lifting weights, exercising and such. And, you know, we're still, you know, figuring this out, and I'm not the only person. There's a lot of people who are like this. I happen to know of a person, and it's just because of his metabolism, and he was complaining on Facebook several years ago. That's how I know. But, you know, everyone is different, and, you know, people like this person has got to understand that. And I say I cannot help how I look, how I sound, how I walk, how I talk, and I'm just not sure why his brain cannot comprehend that. Again, I'm not being mean to you. I'm just trying to get you to have the much needed paradigm shift. Would you call your own flesh and blood weirdo if and when he gets the diagnosis of autism? Autism is rising astronomically. Listen, I respect you because of your heart, not your outward appearance if I were to see you in person. And besides, you probably look normal on the outside. But some of us can't help it. And you just need to understand that. It's a medical thing. Everybody is different. I mean, I have 2 degrees, 1 in chemistry, 1 in biochemistry. I took anatomy, I took physiology. Not everyone could help how we look. And then I said, I am reminded that I have a video titled, Don't Judge a Book by Its Cover, if you want to check that out, where I further prove this. In August of 2020, I got a comment on one of my Royal Ranger videos, and the person said that he doesn't see me as surviving 1 day in the wilderness. Well, I have, in fact, earned the Gold Medal of Achievement, which is statistically tougher than the Boy Scouts Eagle Scout Award. And by fortuity, it was 8 years ago today, September 8th, 2013, when I was awarded the GMA, and I'm about to enter my 22nd year faithfully in this program. Well, you know, that video, which I'm putting in the card above right now, if you want to check it out, I explain more detail about it, and you could also read the comments. I mean, I get support in a lot of these videos, including that video, including the video from March 2020, as well as May 2020. And then I explained to him that I anticipate his reply, and I waited for like over 24 hours, and I finally got a reply tonight. I read this reply right after I was done giving a sermon to the youth at the local community church, since I was a youth minister, so that's where I was when I got the message on my phone. And he puts, "Wow, Matt, I'm glad you started defending yourself. clearly I'm helping you to become a better person. Number one, I've been defending myself for years. I mean, not in a real defensive way, but, just in a loving way, because I believe everyone has a purpose, including bullies. That's why I'm spending time with this guy and all the other, trolls, quote unquote, out there, because I'm not against them. I mean, people who follow me know that I give the benefit of the doubt, and I try to give the benefit of the doubt. And when I read this, I was thinking, and actually I was more like hoping, that he really is subliminally trying to help me out here, while being mean at the same time. I doubt it, but I'm that type of person. But he's wrong, basically, and I point that out, but let's move on. I'm sure you are making money from your book, and clearly you are getting social benefits. The only benefits I'm getting are like testing accommodations, reading accommodations, and such at school. I'm not getting any benefits in terms of money or anything like that. If you want people to stop bullying you and weirdos like you, if you want others to take you seriously, if you want to become an influencer and someone who defends the weirdos community, then you should invest on your appearance. Why do you think the media kept ignoring you? So number one, he still refers to us as weirdos, and that he insinuates that there's always going to be a weirdo community. And in a way, I think he's trying to help me out, but in the wrong way. And I don't think his heart is fully in it, because I do believe he still hates me as a person. And that last line, why do you think the media kept ignoring you? He's right. The media does ignore me. And I'm not talking about all media, but I'm talking about like the majority of media, as well as churches, as well as schools, radio programs and such. I mean, not everybody. I'm not like listing any specific names or programs or schools or anything like that. But I have been ignored for the past 2 years, probably because I'm autistic, and perhaps because they know that I'm going to change the world and have people understand us for who we are, have people put aside their differences, and to prove that anyone that has any disability does have a right to live this life. And that's why I've been fighting all these years, especially the last 2 years, to get it through to people's heads that we have a right to live this life and to live the calling that we have, the purpose that we have here. And just because you have a disability or other things that people discriminate you over, then that shouldn't define who you are. And to the bullies like this person, you too have a purpose and a calling, but it's not to be a bully. You got to put aside your differences and accept us for who we are. And what's very hypocritical about this guy is that he too was bullied back in 2007, bullied, discriminated, and he was saying how much it hurt, but then he goes bullying and discriminating against other people at their expenses. So I believe he's right to an extent about the media ignoring me, because I've been contacting them over and over again, messaging, not like flooding them, but over the course of time, and like 99% of them never get back with me. And the ones who do just say they can't do anything. Congratulations, but we can't do anything. And that's missing the point. I want everyone to put aside their differences, accept everyone for who they are, whether they have a disability or no disability, and this world will be a better place. And I will go to the bitter end fighting this. Even if nothing happens, I'm going to continue to fight, because this is wrong. Bullying and discrimination is wrong. I made a video a few days ago titled something to the effect like, "This is going to end on my watch," or something. I invite you to watch that video, but these are high school students who just don't accept us for who we are. But a lot of people of all ages don't accept us for who we are. I mean, a lot of the experiences that I endured the past 7 years alone came from adults that just don't understand us autistics for who we are. I talk about it in my book. I've made a few YouTube videos, and I even have an uncle, not a blood uncle, but an uncle that absolutely hates me. In fact, he appeared in my dream last night. I wonder why. But again, if you watch that video, I mean, the comment section has a lot of supporting comments against autistic discrimination. A lot of people that actually get it, people of all ages, who commented on that video. In fact, back in May, I received a comment, and it was some channel named Epic, and I defended myself. I defended autistic people. I posted that, and if you want to watch that, it's up here, but read the comments. I got a lot of supporting comments, and that proves that a lot of people do care about autistic people, which we'll get to here very shortly. Then he writes, "Don't use the Bible, because guess what? Churches, Christian media, gurus, and televangelists do care about their appearance and how they look in front of others. It's why people listen to them." And in my reply, I comment about that, but first he says, "If you have a bad taste, then ask some handsome teen to choose for you. I'm sure it wasn't you who made the attractive cover of your book. See, the cover of your book is the nice appearance of your book." Okay, I want to say thank you. In fact, just a comment, my book came with 4 designs, and I had to choose one of them. And this was actually my second choice, but I'm glad that I made this choice. I made it because I showed my top 2 choices around to several people, and most of them chose this cover. In fact, one of my friends, who's also an author, she said that she likes the yellow because it's a warm color, just like me. And that's what she said. So proof for you that there's a lot of people like that person who do care and support autistic people. And you're right, it wasn't me who made it, it was their artist who made it. And just to comment about the bad taste of clothes, I mean, for crying out loud, these are normal clothes, I believe. I mean, here in America, I see people wear the clothes that I do, the jackets that I do, the shirts. I mean, what is wrong with how I dress? I mean, I get these at department stores, and again, I see a lot of people having the same variety of clothing, including what I wear. Frankly, and anybody could correct me if I'm wrong, I don't see any problem with how I look out in public. I mean, I just wear normal clothes. And finally, he says, if you could go to college every day, then you can go to the gym. Don't say, quote, I'm autistic, I can't do this and I can't do that. Stop using autism as an excuse. Well, a brief comment that I have is, just rewatch what I said earlier about, some of us, including me, we really cannot help how we look. It's just how we were born and such, as well as other things, so I digress. And for goodness sake, I say the opposite from the words that you put in my mouth. I never said I'm autistic and therefore I can't do this and I can't do that. I'm actually saying the opposite. Don't let autism or any disability slow you down. You have a purpose, you have a calling, and I go on from there. And so I reply and say, well, I appreciate all that you're saying and supposedly doing. I agree and I disagree to an extent. I have a lot of comments to say, but I will probably have to make a video to explain it, and I just did so here, or at least most of it. Otherwise, I would write you a novella, and you probably would not want to read all that. Besides, I think it's good for others to listen to my answers. One thing I'd say now is stop calling us weirdo, because we are not weirdos, we are human beings. Another thing, I agree that most televangelists think too much about their image instead of God, unlike Jesus, who wasn't necessarily a handsome guy, as the Bible does say. I'm not against dressing up for church. You could read my book because I clearly talk about that. But as long as you're doing it out of respect for God and not to please man primarily. And just to add, I don't really listen to a lot of televangelists, or at least as much as I did in the past, because, I think that a lot of them are just for wealth and riches and mansions and cars and jets and all that. And I've seen and listened as a child and a teen to some of these televangelists in person at the studios. I'm not saying all televangelists. I'm sure that there's some of them who do have a heart on, doing the Great Commission and preaching the gospel to the world, something that I hunger after as well. And then I went on to say that I will probably end up making this video, but that I'm trying hard to give him the benefit of the doubt, but he just needs to understand where I'm coming from. And I told him, either way, I will still treat you and everybody else as a friend, regardless if you are one to me. And then he replies, he basically says it's true that nobody cares about autistics. Need a proof? How many times have you complained about discrimination and nobody cares? Bullying, harassment. Well, watch some of my videos and just read the comments and such. There are a few people in this world who do care. How many kids and teens get bullied in schools and nobody cares? How many young men were kicked out of their homes on their 18th birthday because their parents didn't want to have an autistic in their home? Okay, I do gotta say, you're right to an extent. In the world, there are differences in opinions. There's parents who love their autistic child or a child with any disability, and then there's people who despise. And maybe in your country or your area where you come from, maybe there's more of that, and that's a shame. That's a shameful thing to have happen. There are a lot of people who do care around the world, but unfortunately there are people who don't care, and that's not the child's fault, that's their parents' fault, that's their parents' intolerance. But this person's problem is that he's implying that everybody is like him, that everybody thinks his way and such, that everybody is like that. If there's a few parents, or maybe many parents where he's at, that kick out their child or who have schools that no one cares and all that, then he must think that everybody is like that, all schools are like that, but it's simply not true. And again, it's not the child's fault, it's not the autistic's fault or the teen or whoever. It's, the fault of the administration, the school, the parents and such. And that's why I'm in this fight to educate the entire world and such. And once again, even the news media seems to be ignoring this issue. The last thing he writes to me is, you should not make a video just because you want to make a video. Well, let me tell you, I have like 50 or 60 videos right now in my YouTube folder that will last for the next couple of months, and I'll probably have more videos by that time. And honestly, I don't need to make a video. I actually said in my reply, but first, the last sentence that he said was, your last response video only got 250 views if I remember correctly. Well, 228, but who's counting? But honestly, so what? Here's my reply to that. I put, well, you're wrong because I know a lot of people who care, but you're right that not everyone cares, but that's my mission on Earth. The reason I make videos isn't because I need a video, which is what I just said. I have tons of videos to post that can last a month or two, no problem. I only make them just as a catharsis for me, or a release, and to help others through my commentary, however much or however few I can. I don't care if it's a couple of views I get or millions of views. Okay? Only the right people will be led to watch it. And he still didn't answer my direct question. So throughout this dialogue, I asked him some questions and he just doesn't answer them. And the only reason I care is because I'm trying to give the benefit of the doubt, but it's nearly depleted. I just don't want to believe that people are really like this down in their heart. This me with such audacity and intolerance. I mean, honestly, I care about this person. I care about all the people who gave mean comments to me and those who give mean comments to other people. I just want them to stop and realize that we're human beings. Honestly, I read the reports for years. There's tons of people, including children, that have taken their life because of stuff like this. And that's why this really matters to me. And besides, who knows if this person is feeling the same way? And this is his catharsis, as I've said in the past. And as many people say, a lot of people choose to be bullies because they were bullied when they were younger, like this guy in like circa 2007, I believe, and such. And you know, it's a shame the world that we live in, the human nature that tends to be lurking around. But you know, I'm going to fight to the bitter end to do my part and get through to the media. And it's not really the media entirely that I'm after. I'm after, you know, other places, churches, schools, libraries, to give my thoughts. I mean, I'm not the only person in the world, but I want to try and just offer what I have to offer, and maybe with all of us working together and putting aside our differences and competitions, we can make this world a better place, because I'm not in competition with anybody. And you know what? I see discrimination pretty much every day, so that tells me that there's more work to do. So anyway, whether this gets 1 view or 1 million, I really care about this world changing. And really, he's trying to change me, my appearance and everything, but you know, it's not us that need to change. The world's got to change. And there are many songs that sing that. There's many songs that have something like that in their lyrics. And my message to everyone listening, especially if you know someone or you're autistic yourself or have some disability, you don't need to change anything. I'm sure that you have a wonderful purpose on this earth just the way you are. And in fact, people like me and other people around are using this, you know, to encourage other people, like, hey, if you have autism or if you look a certain way, look at me, I didn't give up. Look at them, they didn't give up. And that's, you know, my heart. And I just hope that's encouragement to you. I invite everyone to watch my playlist if you want to. I also invite you to message the news media yourself. Maybe there's power in numbers, but anyway, my real concern is having this world just put aside the differences, trust each other and such, because bullies don't really trust themselves. That's my thinking, is that they don't really trust themselves. They haven't given themselves a chance, but once they do, they'll stop being bullies and being nice to one another. So anyway, that's the video. Please stay optimistic. As I continue to be optimistic, I'll never stop believing that everyone has a purpose and a calling on this earth. So have a great day.